We got what? Look at that face. Come on. It's
That's
gorgeous.
not going on the video.
Yes, it is.
So she says.
Amendment number 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for redress for grievances.
Example 1a. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Angle vs. Vitale cannot say state prayers in school prayer. Basically what happened was that the state of New York authorized a short voluntary prayer, and so that you can basically get a prayer at the beginning of the school day. However, the courts ruled that just because it was a state prayer and it was non-descriptive in many ways, it was still a church and state mix-up. So basically they just cut it off and said, no, you cannot do that.
I say the Rastafarian should be the new religion of America.
This is America! Example 1b. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. The emphasis is on prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Basically, in Oregon v. Smith, there were a couple of people who were employees and did a religious practice involving peyote. However, they were fired because they used an illegal drug, and they demanded unemployment benefits. However, the state ruled that was still an illegal drug, and so they did not get any employee benefits, because anything that is illegal drug is still an illegal drug, even for religious purposes. In Reynolds v. U.S., an illegal practice is still illegal, even if it is for religious purposes. Basically, they were trying to get polygamy to be okay. However, the state ruled that it was still an illegal act, and therefore, because of separation of church and state, it was still an illegal act and had no premise to be lawful.
What you doing? It's all about that flying spaghetti monster, girl.
I know what?
Spaghettied.
Example number 1c. Abridging the freedom of speech. In Schneck v. U.S., during the war, some speech was prohibited that would otherwise not be. That was ruled after people were trying to basically insinuate that the war is bad and should be a basic revolution within the army to stop. In Miller v. California, cannot just mail anything to anyone. There was a man who mailed very inappropriate and non-community standard photos to everybody, and everybody complained because it was very inappropriate to send it. Basically, it's meeting the standard that it has to follow normal community standards. In Ticker v. Des Moines, schools cannot prohibit the wearing of armbands as protesting. Basically, in the Vietnam War, some students got together and said that they were going to protest by wearing armbands. However, the school demanded that if you wear armbands, then you were going to be suspended until after the basic protesting was over. In Bethel v. Fraser, this one student was saying that you could cuss anywhere and any time. However, schools are now allowed to prohibit lewd speech. Basically, you can't say anything at every time. You have to be appropriate to normal people standards, basically. You can't just be all willy-nilly about anything that you say.
Hey, piece of shit! First Amendment can't do anything.
Well, I ain't even that, bro.
Example number 1d. The right of the people to peaceably assemble. In Cox v. New Hampshire, basically the New Hampshire state said that you had to have a permit in order to do parades or functions such as that. However, the people basically said that that was against law and against the Constitution. However, the courts upheld that if the state requires a permit, then that is okay, because then it will allow the city to maintain normal standard functions and allow them to keep peace and safety amongst the streets. To the 5th Annual Dog Eating Assembly.
Oh crap! We're wrong! We're wrong!
Where did everybody go?
Amendment number 3. No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. In Griswold v. Connecticut, the Supreme Court ruled that the right to use birth control couldn't be outlawed. The basis for this was that the protection of privacy is shown in the 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 9th Amendments. This pertains to the 3rd in particular because having no soldier quartered in your house is respecting your privacy as a homeowner. And in the amendment it says directly, no soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house. That is because of everyone having their own privacy, and the federal and state governments must respect that. Disclaimer. What you are about to see is completely fake and will likely never happen to you. This is just a result of bad improv and the super randomness of me and my brother. Enjoy. Oh, and yes, I do have 4 pugs.
Is anybody home? Pete, is anybody home? This all popped up. Alright, let's go get some food. Let's go. Ooh, nice table. Dogs already trusting me, stupid dogs. Oh! What you got? What you got? What you got? Some shrimp. Ooh. Alright, let's go on back. It's on the TV. What the heck are you doing in my house? I was taking food, dude. That's my bad. No, I'm gonna call the cops right now. No, sir, I'm just checking your food. I'm gonna put your food away, man. I got you, man. I got you.
There's a punk in my house, and I think he's part of this military.
Dude, let me just get
Third Amendment.
Amendment number 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched, and the persons or things to be seized.
Example number 3. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. In Calvaria versus Acevedo, police were able to search movable containers in cars without warrant if they have probable cause. Basically, they saw a man take a bag full, what they suspected was full of weed, and move it into a car. What they then did was pull them over, inspect the bag, and rule that it had weed. However, when they were at court, Acevedo said that it abridged his freedom and was his searches and seizures, it was violated, basically. He could not just be searched without a warrant. However, the Supreme Court held that a movable container was still able to be searched if it had probable cause. In New Jersey versus TLO, exclusionary rule applies to school officials, undecided. Basically, the school officials were looking and found weed inside of this one person's bag. However, the student demanded that they did not have a warrant, therefore they could not search and seize anything. However, when it went up to the Supreme Court, it is still undecided and has not been ruled out today.
I'm the bird.
What are you doing there, half the neighbor?
God.
What are you here to do? I got the Fourth Amendment on my side.
That's my truck.
Amendment number 5. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces, or in the militia when in actual service in the time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Amendment number 6. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have the compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense.
In Miranda versus Arizona, basically the informed rights has to be before confession. You have to be read your right before confession. In Miranda, he gave a confession before he was read his rights. Afterwards, the confession was thrown out, and he was still under pressure to basically give that confession. However, the Supreme Court ruled that it was still a unusable confession. In Oregon v. Elstad gave his confession before his rights, and then after his rights, he still gave his confession. However, when he got to court, the Supreme Court said that it was still a legal confession because he was still given his rights beforehand and after.
Do you have any witnesses that will attest to where you were on Sunday?
Fifth.
Where were you on Sunday?
Fifth.
Did you have any ice cream on Sunday? Did you have ice cream on Sunday?
Fifth.
Did you have ice cream on Sunday?
I saw my attorney. Harasser!
Okay.
Face of a criminal.
It's a gun.
Second Amendment.
True.
Okay.
Already got that. Okay, ready? Wow. I hurt myself.
You go up and you open it, and then the second that you go to open it, go on the food, and then open it. Okay. Say it just like that. Once say it on the food.
I'm food.
Okay.
I'm food.
What are you doing, half the neighbor?
What am I supposed to say after this?
That was it.
What?